Thursday, February 23rd, and the bad boys are back. The content doesn't sleep. Big Papa Bobby Hoops is the gold standard college basketball podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Hoops, well, he has to sound off once again because the Vols go down to College Station and unfortunately take back-to-back losses. The Cats, however, get scratching in Gainesville. Big dub against Florida. They'll take what they can get. We'll talk about scores around the league. Did Mizzou win? Dang it, they did. Anywho, so yeah, we'll talk about other scores around the league, what impressed us, what didn't. Then we'll look towards the end of the episode as we get back on the train of our dog of the week. Oh yeah, and by the way, little mailbag question action. We love the mailbag. Hey, today's presenting sponsor, once again, is our good friends at Realty Executive. Have you heard us talk about Realty Executives? Oh, that they sold over $3 billion in sales for 2022? I think you've heard us say it before. What does that mean? I don't know. But by golly, we can tell you that working with Rob Logan and Austin White is not confusing. Call those boys up today if you need help with buying or selling real estate in 2023. They'll get you to the finish line and make you feel like the hero. Call Rob, 301-910-1136, or Austin at 865-719-2724. Let's ride! What is up? It is Big Papa and Bobby Hoops. We are back, episode 3 of the Gold Standard College Basketball Podcast.
Let's ride.
I had a great night personally. Bobby Hoops is going to sound off again. I think it's become an unfortunate.
That's what this podcast is just going to be.
As you famously said, sometimes in March Madness you're just mad and
just soggy sorrows.
Hey, we're going to jump in pretty quickly. We got a lot of stuff to cover today, but scores around the league from, let's go back to Tuesday. Oh gosh, sorry. I'm trying to pull up just the Southeastern Conference, not all of Division I. We don't have time for that nonsense. All right, here we go. Tuesday, February 21st, Arkansas took it to Georgia 97-65. It's starting to frustrate me more seeing Georgia just get destroyed.
And I mean, they're getting throttled lately.
They literally are getting hammered, and I'm like, I don't get it. Unfortunately, A&M beat Tennessee in a close one, 68-63. Wednesday night, we had LSU give it to Vanderbilt, which, I mean, you know, you got a streaky Vanderbilt team all of a sudden. They're getting hot. They go play LSU, who's like not really good.
That's a tough loss for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's 84-77.
That's tough.
Auburn, close game with Ole Miss, 78-74. South Carolina and Alabama, overtime. Bama sneaks away 78-76. Brandon Miller pops off for 41. Unbelievable.
I mean, I don't think this is a podcast where we're getting into what's going on off the court, but for him to have that kind of performance with all that's going on, that's what a performance by Brandon Miller.
I don't even know how you describe it.
Okay.
No, not necessarily our podcast to do that. I mean, it's just very unfortunate stuff occurred because of that event.
Yes.
But we did. I mean, we're just acknowledging that, like, Brandon Miller popped off in the midst of what is a very sad and unfortunate thing. You know, I mean, you would think, what's he, 18, 19?
Yeah.
That's heavy. You're getting the.
I mean, obviously that the team was a bit distracted. That's
for sure.
It's a team that should probably crush South Carolina and not need overtime to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, anyway.
Well, the last one, unfortunately, Missouri won in overtime.
over Mississippi State. And that was talking Missouri. So other than that,
they're kind of ruining our bit right now with all these wins they keep getting.
Yeah, it's dumb. As much as we love the SEC, yeah, I'll say it. We're very much an anti-Mizzou podcast.
Yes.
Do with that what you will.
Can't stand them.
Can't stand them. So yeah, there's that on the SEC.
Mailbag.
Yeah. For those who heard us give the big shout out, we're doing mailbags, and we had a couple come in. Bobby, you're going to take the first one real quick.
Yeah. The inaugural Gold Standard podcast mailbag question comes from our fan and loyal listener, Jeff Mason.
Hoorah.
Who says, the tournament is right around the corner. I hear a lot about Rick Barnes being a Hall of Fame regular season coach, but goes missing in the tournament. What is the difference in the regular season coaching and tournament coaching? Why is it different? You wanna hop on that first?
Well, honestly, ever since he sent that in the other day, it kind of stumped me because it's not necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily just a black and white answer. I think we know historically guard play carries you in the tournament, which you would say, okay, well, I mean, it's the same people playing during regular season and the tournament. Like, what happens? I think that, honestly, the only thing I can kind of construct is I think guys just can get super tense if they don't have the experience going into the postseason. Now you may say, well, what about younger guys who have make a run, and it's fair and valid. The only thing I can really think of if you're younger is, do you feel loose and free by your coach? To go through mistakes, play through it. You're not getting taken out. Quite frankly, I kind of think of last year with Kentucky, 2 seed, go play St. Peter's. And there was all this stuff that came out after the game that apparently they just looked stiff as a brick. It was very much abnormal of a Cal team in postseason. So I don't really know if that answers Jeff's question or not. I think it kind of I think you have to have pieces of older guys around if they've had postseason play or just mature to know how to kind of corral guys and be like, hey,
yeah,
okay, I understand it's a one and done thing in the postseason. Settle down. And for whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think there are things that are always, pointed to when you're filling out a bracket and you're looking at all these different websites and different analysts talk about what leads to teams that go deep in the tournament. And you touched on guard play is always a big one. Feel like it feels like the big four are usually guard play, good defense, rebounding, and free throws.
Yep.
It's those four are if you're a team that does, at least, 2 or 3 of those things really well, you're probably, going to be a team that, so some of that's roster build up, but I think you're mostly right in terms of that. I think a good coach in the tournament just has to bring a sense of confidence and just to his team that they feel loose, like you said, and feel, I pulled up the active NCAA tournament head coach records, and Jeff in his question brought up Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes has been to, at least as of this list, 23 NCAA tournaments and has a 22-23 overall record in the NCAA tournament. Little under 500. He's been to a Final Four with Texas.
Sure.
And then you have a coach like the one who's brought up a lot, and I think with good reason, Tom Izzo at Michigan State. He's been to 21 NCAA tournaments, but his record is 48-20. And he's been to 7 Final Fours. He was a runner-up in one and won the title. And so I just think there's something about a coach that, not that Rick Barnes isn't the type that can instill confidence and have his teams ready to go, but there are just these coaches who, whether it's their system, the kind of players that they recruit there, who just get it done in March. I mean, how many years have Michigan State been like a mediocre at best team in the Big Ten?
No.
And then sure enough, there they are in like the Elite Eight again.
That's
like,
a classic like Izzo type team.
Yeah.
You don't think that they're going to be maybe second weekend anywhere from an 8 to 11 seed.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you find them in the Final Four and you're like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Barnes had KD. It's like you don't have KDs walking around all the time. So I honestly, and I think you're completely right. I agree with you. It's like it probably at the end of the day just falls back on the coach and like what type of system do you run? Do your guys feel free and loose? And
there's something to be said for like some of this is splitting hairs, and crazy things happen in this tournament, and it doesn't matter how good your team is or the makeup or how good your coach is or how bad your coach is. A guy can hit a half court shot and end your season, and there's nothing. That's just what happened.
Like, what are you going to do? That's basketball.
Yeah.
In a one game situation, that's not happening.
It just happens.
We did have one more question.
Okay.
I was going to say I don't think that you knew about this one. I saw.
No, I didn't.
Just a guy who sent in just put the letter T.
Okay. T.
And he put just L as like nothing. Okay, here's his question. What's up, Big Pop and Bobby Hoops? Massive fan. So my buddy and I, L, he put in parentheses, we've been running a podcast since 2015. I think we've just been super surprised at how much success you've had so quickly, and that you already have a presenting sponsor. Like, what are you guys doing? I'm paraphrasing. It was a very long, and it's kind of like
yeah.
We don't have enough time. So basically, what are we doing? Short answer: some guys just
I don't know. We just kind of roll out of bed and make a podcast.
Look, I'm not even acting like I'm the greatest engineer on visuals, audio, all that stuff. Some guys just have it. And I don't know like what they've been doing since 2015. I'm sure if they've been running that long, like it's a decent show, right? If you've been alive that long.
We don't even have access to all, the fancy equipment and like, a recording studio and things like. No, we're just two dudes. I'm in a bedroom. I guess you're in an office.
Yeah.
We just, sometimes you just roll the ball out and let your guys go.
Roll the ball out. That's what we do.
Clear the lane.
Hey, we're going to jump into the next segment, which is a quick recap of Tennessee and A&M. Unfortunately, Tennessee did go down to Texas and didn't get it done. Very close schedule-wise, back-to-back games. You went to Rupp, then, not even 72 hours later, you find yourself playing Texas A&M. What's your thoughts? You're like Vol Nation. Bobby Hoops.
Oh man, it was a frustrating game. I feel like I'm a little bit of a broken record because there's like I ping pong in my head between trying to be realistic about this and just being irrationally mad and frustrated with this team because here we are once again. We're without Josiah James. Once again, we're without Julian Phillips. And we're just bottom of the, end of the day, we are a team that our offense is based around motion and shooting jump shots. And we're just a team right now that can't hit a lot of jump shots. And we are leaning heavily on Vescovi and Ziegler to get any kind of offense going. And against, we're realizing here that A&M played defense on us a lot like Kentucky did. They just threw a lot of big athletic guys at us, and we couldn't without hitting the 9 3-pointers we hit in the game. We couldn't do anything, and it's just frustrating. I mean, once again, we have guys in foul trouble. Ziegler picked up too quick. Adu, who is a great player, but he played only 16 minutes this week. 5 minutes less than he did last game against Kentucky, and because we're in foul trouble, and I can point to the refs a little. The officiating in that game felt very nitpicky and a lot of soft fouls, and I think those were called both ways. But once again, we play against the team. A&M was money from the line, 28 of 34. They lead, I think they lead the NCAA, or they're at least top 3 in free throws made. Yep. And you want to talk about what works in the NCAA tournament? It's what they do: guard play, great free throw shooting, crashing the boards. I mean, they hardly take any 3-pointers. That we took double the 3-pointers they did. I mean, that was part of the reason we were in it as much as we were. It is miserable watching our offense right now. We just, they were sticking what's his name for I think it was this guy Dennis, number 0 for A&M, 6'5" guy. You stick a 6'5" guy, a wing on Ziegler all game, he can't do anything. And he really couldn't do much. I mean, he did have 14 in the game, but it's just frustrating. It just felt like we have no ability to dribble drive to the hoop. We have no ability for anybody to create a shot for themselves. It just felt like Ziegler and Vescovy, hitting bailout shots for us all night from 3 to keep us close. And the 3-pointers made a big difference or at least to keep us close. It's frustrating to keep playing these games without 2 really talented players who help our offense. And our offense has struggled all year, on and off, even with those guys in. But, Rick Barnes had a quote after the game which was a little unclear on Josiah and Julian's availability, saying that he said it was on them, but also kind of said that the trainers are working hard. And I mean, even Jimmy Dykes during the game had even kind of called out Josiah Jordan James, saying, both him and Phillips were dressed. They warmed up with the team. And Jimmy Dykes said, I didn't see anything during warmups that would indicate to me at all that Josiah couldn't play in that game.
Dang, Jim.
And so that's where it's frustrating. Yeah, it's like, because then you also have Vescovy, who was sick on Monday, was sick on game day, still played a team high 36 minutes, and led the team in scoring. So I want to give those 2 guys the benefit of the doubt. I have to think, if they could go, they would go. And I'm sure they're going to be back soon, especially if they were warming up and were dressed. But it's just hard. The optics are hard to watch a guy like Vescovy give it his all when he's sick, and still, keep us close and keep us in the game. I mean, he had a double-double and 7 assists with, after being sick for 2 days. And these 2 guys are still sitting and watching on the bench. And again, I'm going to continue to give them the benefit of the doubt, but the optics of that were a little tough to watch and see. Especially because, man, we're 2-5 in February. This is tough. I don't know. What were your thoughts on the game?
I do think that it's kind of been the same story for what feels like the last handful of games with Tennessee, right? That because they're so physical, that you almost kind of have it. Honestly, I'm like, if you're a Tennessee fan, I think you kind of have to be at the point where you're like, you got to assume they're just gonna hammer both teams with fouls. That's just gonna happen. Actually, I did have a thought in the middle of it. When you start getting the rando calls that don't make sense, makeup calls, whatever.
Yeah.
Rick Pitino had this famous quote while he was still at Loserville, because that's his MO is hard-nosed defense. We will always be physical. That's the one thing we always lean on. And his thing was, oh, we're gonna foul the snot out of you. They can't call every foul. It's just so I have that thought.
They did in this game.
I'm not saying Deacon Barnes is taking up things that Rick Pitino says, like probably not like the best guy to follow. But it made me think, like, well, they can't call everything. So again,
I mean, there was that stretch at the start of the second half where I counted. It was 6 straight Texas A&M possessions they called a foul on us.
Yeah.
It was like
I
don't know what to do. You know, the foul differential wasn't that big. I mean, it was 24 for us to 18 for them. So it's like it wasn't that, you know, that wasn't the main difference maker, but it was just like, oh, we can't play our, you know, we're known for our defense, and we couldn't play our defense because they kept calling fouls, and made us pay for it. I mean, they, you know, 82% almost 83% as a team from the free throw line, shooting 34 free throws. Just they made us pay.
Yeah, I think my overall takeaway is let Triple J and the other guy,
Julian Phillips,
let Triple J and Julian get back healthy. Then let's see, because I think that when you get your strong wing, quite frankly, when you have strong wings, that pulls the defense out, right? Like if they can score from the 3-point line, then as a defense, you have to account for them, rather than thinking like, oh, they only attack the basket. Because if that's the case from a scouting standpoint, it's like, sure, so let them get healthy.
We need them. We just need them. I love Vescovy and I love Ziegler. They're just not like physically gifted enough to be able to take on a defense by themselves, create a shot for themselves, create offense for others. That it has to run through our system. And right now, more times than not, especially in the last, 7 games, we really only have 2 guys out on the court at any one time who I trust taking a jump shot. And poor Tyreek Key, I want it so badly for this kid to get going and get hot. After going 0 of 5 against Kentucky, he was 1 of 7 this night. And, we need somebody to step up if those guys are still going to be out. And Jemai Meshack did in the Kentucky game, but outside of that, we just haven't had anybody step up. And it's been tough to watch, really tough to watch. But just my last point being that you watch these last few games, we really miss having a guy like Kennedy Chandler or a guy like Jordan Bone, a point guard who can, penetrate, get down, make some tough layups or set up guys on the outside for shots. And we just don't have a guy like that right now. As good as Vescovy and Ziegler both are, that's not their game. And we miss a guy like that in that game.
Well, can I give you some good news?
Sure, please do.
Still ranked number 3 in the net as of yesterday. So
dude, the net is like, the net's always there for me to tell me how good my team is. Hey, but man, I don't trust it right now. I don't trust the net.
I feel like that's the spectrum. Is like either you love the net, live by it, or you're like, don't ever show me net stuff.
Right now, I'm like, net, like, I love you, I appreciate you. Not right now, net. Not right now. I want to be bummed about my team.
You deserve the space to be bummed.
Yeah.
It's just wild, because if you were going based off that, then Tennessee technically would be a 1 seed. But
yeah.
All right, quick hitters about the Kentucky game. Went down to Gainesville, won. Very weird. I felt like they not only should have, but could have won by like 25. Castleton, again, out of the season.
Castleton, that's big.
Felt really good about it. I knew, I was like, it's a road game in the SEC. It's just always by nature going to be tough. That's just conference away basketball game. So
sure.
They were up 30-15 going into, there was a TV timeout at the 8-minute mark in the first half. So I was like, we might go into halftime up by like 20 points. This would be sweet. Florida goes on a 22-6 run, goes up 1 point and a half. And I wanted to put my head through some drywall. Now, there was also some like other circumstances with a client with work. I was already like hot and bothered by that. Then this happens, and woo doggy. I was Dee at one point just texted me, was like, "You okay down there?" I was like, "Nope,
No.
nope. The game's on. Don't talk to me." Second half, back and forth. There's just several times Kentucky would go up, honestly, 7 or 8 points after Florida would like hit them with a punch. And yeah, it just was like that the rest of the game. They end up winning, like I said, 82-74. So I mean, 8 points? Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels good. You got the 80, which most teams would be like begging to score 80 points. The other thing that really stinks is that Wheeler and CJ are both still out. Hints that CJ could play against Auburn on Saturday. But this is like what's baffling. Cal is notorious about shrinking his lineup later in the season. His bench guys played a combined 11 minutes. You got 4 points total from your bench guys. Listen to this from the starters, minutes played. 35, 39, 38, 38, 39. How are dudes supposed, like, I think we talked about it last episode, but like it's not good.
That's asking a lot of your guys.
And I'm like, it's fun because we're winning, right? But it's also big picture of like, we've got to get dudes healthy. And it's this like very weird tension of, well, I want y'all to get in when you get guys healthy. How long do you guys sit? Because we're winning, all these weird things. But Oscar, 25, he only had 4 rebounds, which if you had been like, hey,
weird.
Oscar's going to have 4 rebounds, what do you think? I would probably be like, sound like probably going to lose. But
Livingston and Toppin made up for it.
Topped off, both had double doubles. Oscar shot 12 for 13 on field goals, which I was like, pop off, big fella. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, other than that, like it was a good win. Get out of there. You're only helping your seed line stuff. I made note to talk about this. So Cal, for whatever reason, this season, if they lose, his pressers are like 3 minutes. Boom, out. And I said it before, maybe the first episode, but I'm like, when you lose, you want to hear your head coach talk. Like, why do you think you lost? What was the game plan, the scouting, all this stuff? He's like, I'll take 2 questions. I'm gonna go home because it's late.
Yeah.
Everybody's up and awake, and we know it's late. Talk, please.
Yep.
But when he wins,
what do you guys want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, no, he'll go anywhere from 9 to 15.
Yeah.
He'll spend a third of it talking about all the haters out there. And that's just like here's the thing. So Cal, if anybody knows him, he always has to have a villain or somebody against him, which whatever, gets the motor going.
Yeah.
When he first started, it was like national media. John Goodman, or not John, but Jeff Goodman, some other guys, but hated them because they were pounding them about Memphis stuff, whatever. Okay, from there, then it goes to Rick Pitino. All right, now you've got him. Then it turns into like a couple conference coaches that you're really against. For a hot second, it was like Coach K at Duke because of recruiting stuff. Now it's like turned on local.
Yeah. Big Blue Nation. That's the rival.
He has turned on the BBN, which to some degree, I'm like, whatever. So be it. If whatever gets you motivated, fine. But it's so odd because I'm like, we're for you, and you like deservingly so should have gotten criticized for how the season started, how it was in the middle of it. And now all of a sudden, because they're rolling in the last 11 conference games, they're 9-2, which is awesome.
Yes.
Now, but
which is what everybody wants.
But he's using that platform to be like,
what now? Huh? Oh, you want
to take shots at us? Yeah, really, you're really trying to talk us out of the tournament. We're like, we're not trying to talk you out of the tournament. We want you to get in. It's so baffling, but it's also like that's Cal. And it's just the like he will use you also as the fan base to get motivated. So that's my what's Cal being weird about segment once again. Real quick, dog of the week. Who you got?
My dog of the week is my niece, Ellie Mason.
Hey,
Last week, my girl wasn't feeling too good. She had to have a lot of blood work done. Had to have a lot of bad shots. From what I understand, she was just a champion. She toughed it out. She's tough. I love my girl, Ellie Mason, dog of the week.
gritty. She's just got grit.
Yeah, gritty.
That is a Mason, just part of their bloodline. Just
Yeah,
grit.
yeah, Mason staple, gritty.
My dog of the week, he is lovingly referred to as Jude the Dude.
Jude the dude.
Jude the Dude. We got a video of him essentially pump faking all of us out. I mean, that cat is what? Is he 2 or 3?
He's like little. He's like almost 1.5, maybe.
Our man is balling.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, rocket of an arm, can shoot hoops, pump faking his dad whenever he's filming him. Like, hey, throw me the ball, and then he'll throw it backwards, but launches it. Yeah, right here.
He's got an arm.
I love it. He's
1.5, already throwing missiles.
He's going to break his dad's records when he gets into high school.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, dogs of the week. We'll keep doing it as long as y'all send in recommendations or don't. It's our show. We're the ones who pick it anyway.
Yeah. Maybe I'm nominate myself dog of the week next time.
You deserve it.
We can do that.
Nominate myself. Hey, looking into the weekend, Saturday, Cats going to get scratching against Auburn, 4:00 on CBS. And Tennessee has South Carolina again, 6:00 Saturday night. Real quick, what do you think? Score? What's your prediction on South Carolina?
I mean, I think we're gonna kill them. I mean, I said this before the A&M game this week that I don't think Rick Barnes has ever lost more than 3 times in a row, and we're at 2 right now, and we beat South Carolina by like 40 about a month and a half ago. Yeah. So I fingers crossed we have all our guys back. We're good to go. Just slaughter South Carolina. I'll say we win by 15 plus.
Yeah, I agree. Feel good win, beat up on them.
Yeah.
I'll get you to get on the right track.
Yeah.
I feel good about Auburn, but I'm also like, I think it's going to be a tough matchup. Auburn's got 2 solid guards, quick, can shoot. They've got length, athleticism. So it's just it feels a little bit of a coin toss at the moment. I don't know if a line's even been dropped for that game, but I wouldn't be shocked if Kentucky was a favorite because it's at home by like 2. I think because they've got Auburn, Vandy, and Arkansas left, I'm going to lean Kentucky wins in a close one with Auburn, kind of continuing riding the ship into the NCAA tournament, hopefully get us a good seed anywhere from like, I think 7 to 10. And at that point, I'm like, you're in. Let's get rolling. So,
yeah.
Here we go.
Hey, real quick.
Yes.
Missouri travels to Athens, Georgia.
Oh, they'll get slaughtered by Georgia.
That's what I thought too. No shot. No shot.
Sick them. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Hey, Big Papa, Bobby Hoops. Thanks for tuning in.
Love y'all.